What is going on, guys? Happy Thursday, everybody. Marcin here. I'm live. I'm kind of looking all over the place, make sure we're live. I think we're good. I hope you're enjoying your Thursday. Why are we here? Let's jump right into it. So, every Thursday, I show up and I share all sorts of golden nuggets or golden BBs. When you're building a photography business, there is really no one silver bullet. It's just a lot of little components you have to put together to make this thing work and basically to make money with your camera. Who am I? I'm Marcin. I have done photography for the last 17 years. And basically, now I take it apart and I show you guys what this thing is about. So, how do you make money with your camera? Whether you're somewhere at the beginning of your journey, people usually start with, like, hey, let me take some photos of my neighbor's kids. Whether you're doing portraits, whether you're doing family, whether you're maybe advanced to like more of a professional headshot style, maybe doing some corporate work, or maybe you're already attempting to do like weddings. Maybe you have even tried to do like a wedding or something. I basically, it took me a very long time and a lot of money for different coaches to kind of figure out how this thing works, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm sharing all the knowledge, all the pieces, and so you guys can get there quicker. There's a lot of broke photographers out there, struggling photographers, and it takes sometimes a very long time to figure it out. So I'm trying to make that journey super quick for you guys, so you can monetize quicker and you can wrap your photography skills in this business capsule, because you have to know about systems. You have to know how it's not just photography, it's not just fun and creative part. There's actually a business component, right? And I'm here to just kind of share everything that I have learned, again, so you can save time and money and get there quicker. Today, what are we going to talk about today? If you saw the description, great. If you didn't, I'm here to talk about sales process. That's sort of like a boring name, but really what it is I call it a client journey. When I started photography, I was really clueless as to like what client journey was. Like the concept was like new to me, and literally 4 years or 5 years it took me. Like I was doing different pieces. I knew that I had to do some things to like send out an email and meet with the client, but I think that was really it. Like send out an email, meet with the client, send them the final product. Like that was my business model. There you go. And then I wondered why I sucked for the first 4 or 5 years. So I don't want you guys to be there. I'm here to share now fully fledged cycle of like what is it that I do and how do I stay on top of the client so that they have a great experience. Because guess what? If you're diligent about staying on top of it, the client is happier. The more business you get, the more people they tell, and everybody's happy. And not only that, the same client may actually come back. So if you're doing headshot photography, you never know. Maybe the client will get married. Maybe so it's like a way to leverage that. Maybe a client has a friend that has a family that, so it's like the word spreads really quickly, but there's actually a system behind it. It's not a coincidence. It's not your single email that you send out. Like this is exactly what I'm here to talk about to you guys today. And before I get going, I wanted to encourage you. In a separate window here, I have comments literally live showing up as I talk to you guys. I'm streaming this one to Facebook, both on Facebook and YouTube. So regardless of where you're watching, I don't have option to view YouTube comments live. So if you want to like join the conversation, if you want to leave me a question, leave me a comment, you actually have to. Let me see if I can share this with you guys. If you want to hop into a group to ask live question that I can pop on the screen and answer it for you as I kind of do this stuff, you can, if you're lazy, you can scan this QR code if you're watching on YouTube, and this will take you to our Facebook group. So that's one way to do it. And the other way to do it is, it's not this link, it's this link, easyproimage.com/group. That will get you to the Facebook group. You can join us there. The other thing is, the nice thing about group is that when I do those lives, Facebook decided for some reason that they're going to cancel all the videos that are done live. They only keep it for 30 days. They get rid of them. So if you want to access those recordings, sometimes you just want to listen to absorb the information, not necessarily be jotting things down and losing, half of the stuff. You can access them under guides in the Facebook group. So that's really the advantage. So enough for the intro. Let's jump in because I have a lot of stuff to cover with you guys today. I'll try to make it as quick as possible. So stay with me. But before I start dissecting the different, think of it as like a timeline. When I say client journey, it's really somebody showing up in my world, whether it's a referral from somebody else, whether they stumbled across my social media channel or something like that. And it's like, that's the first moment when they're aware that I exist, right? So they show up, and then in the end, they get the product delivered, whatever the product is, depending on who the client is, right? For a wedding, it could be like an album. For a corporate client, it could be the final images, the headshots. For a family, it's whatever bunch of images that they can select. Maybe you do like a little nice book for them. So it really depends on who the client is, but from the time they show up to the time where I think you guys are seeing on the opposite ends, but you get the point. From the very beginning to the very end, this is the client journey. And what is it that I do? Before I start dissecting those little steps, because I think I literally sit down and what is it that we do? So you guys know exactly, you don't have to implement all steps that I will talk about today, but over time, I would highly recommend you do, or that you implement some sort of permutation, like a different version of what I'm talking about. But the thing about it is you have to be engaged with your client. It's not just like you have one conversation and you kind of forget about each other for 6 months or 12 months, depending on when they book before their actual shoot. So you have to stay on top of that communication, and that is really it. So before I jump into and talk about individual steps, I'm just going to list them all. And this way you'll know what the video is about and what the steps are, because maybe you only have 5 minutes and you're watching and then you got a jet. So I want to take you guys through. I have slides that I will show you, but here I just wanted to tell you that it's at the beginning, it's the first contact, right? It's usually social media or word of mouth. And then we have the CRM entry, which is where we kind of keep track of all the clients. And then we do have the kind of super quick response. For us, it's 24 hours, but I'll talk about it in a little bit. And then we mention to them, we're basically scheduling a call. But at that point, we're not talking to them. It's just a little nudge on that timeline to schedule a call for later, whether it's, next day, next week, next month, or whatever. But that's really the next step. The step after that is pre-meeting value. This is where we're building a lot of trust with the client. I'll talk about it in a second, but it's something that you show them before you actually sit down and talk to them. And then the next one is discovery call, which is the actual meeting. This is the sit down. This is when we talk. And it's not really, a lot of people think of it as this is when I'm selling. I want to debunk that myth. We don't sell in our meetings. And then follow up. This is where you sell. And so basically this is where kind of you dictate the rules and give them some timelines. I'll talk about it, but that's really it. And then what happens when they respond back and they say yes? If it's a no, there's one way to handle it. If it's a yes, what do you do at that point? And then we kind of wait until almost the day when we have the engagement with the client. And there is this step that I call a pre-shoot. So it's prepping a client and exciting a client about the shoot, and also helping them a little bit how to prepare. And then there's actually a day when we shoot, whether it's a wedding, whether it's a corporate shoot, whether it's headshot. And then we have delivery, a lot of steps, right? I told you. So then there's delivery, and then we have 2 more steps, which is one is ask for testimonial. That's super, super, super important, because you need to have those good reviews out there for other people to be able to find you. And the last one is you're now done with the client. What do? We basically try to leverage the CRM information, that list of clients that we have, and we embed that list into our big email list, so they don't forget we exist. When we have the emails, we can send them emails, but also part of the emails is like driving them from our email list to our YouTube channel, Facebook group, page, or Facebook group, or Instagram. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But now you understand how many steps are involved. I think I've listed 13. I don't know, maybe I'm missing one, but those are the steps that we're doing. And right now, since you know already what the steps are, let's kind of dig in, and I'll tell you more about what's happening in each step. So with that, again, if you are on Facebook watching this live, you can hop into the group, or you can, under this video, I believe it's public on Facebook right now, you can leave comments. I don't have any comments right now, but if you leave them, I can actually pop them onto the screen. I'll just show you an example. So if somebody leaves a comment, like I did, that we're going live in 2 minutes, I can respond to you guys. So remember that. But with that being said, I told you that I have slides for you. And let me see if I have them here. See what we get. And we get nothing. How great is that? Give me a second, guys. Let me fix it. And we will need, I believe, this. Cool. So now we have the slides, and let's talk about this. Is just the first slide. The photographer sales system, turning inquiries into loyal clients. A streamlined sales process that builds trust, sets clear expectations, and creates an exceptional client experience from first contact to final delivery. So we already know that. We'll go to the next screen, and as I mentioned, the very first thing that happens is first contact. This is social media or referral, word of mouth, basically, right? So let's look at the slide. Most of your valuable leads will come through two primary channels. At least this is true for us. It maybe other channels for you guys. If you're doing maybe, I don't know, running ads, or most people don't, but like if you are, it could be another channel. Maybe you have, I don't know, YouTube channel, and you offer clients some value, some recommendations, things that they should consider or do during the shoots. Like I said, for us, social media, Instagram and Facebook Messenger, that's number one. Word of mouth, that's probably 70%, 60, I don't know, around that. And these are what we call warm leads. Sometimes people don't even realize that there's like different levels of clients. So one level of client is like a cold lead, warm lead, and hot lead. The cold lead is obviously somebody that you just showed up in their world. They have no idea who you are, and so that's cold lead. Warm lead is somebody that, like, referral, or maybe they've been at somebody's wedding, and now they're being recommended, so they know you exist. Now they're more curious, so they're called warmer leads. And then you have hot leads, which is somebody that already knows and is kind of deciding, like, you're in their decision bucket, so you're being considered maybe as one of the like 2 photographers. So that's what it is. And here I'm talking about warm leads that are already interested in your work and should be immediately entered into your client tracking system. This is the CRM. And it sounds fancy, and it's really not a system. You can have an Excel sheet and just do it in Excel. If you don't have a lot of clients, take a piece of paper and a pencil, and that's your CRM. So don't overthink it, don't complicate it, don't make it this another thing that's gonna push you back and delay your progress. Always, as I say, simplify. Like, make it simple, right? Don't complicate it. So first contact, this is when they come in. This is where we get our traffic from. And the next step here on the list is, let me change the slide. The next thing is CRM entry. Again, sounds complicated. Piece of paper is good enough. Simple yet effective tracking. You don't need expensive software to manage potential clients effectively. And keep it simple. A basic spreadsheet in Excel. I like to use it just because I can share it on my phone, on my computer. So basic spreadsheet in Excel or Google Sheet is sufficient for most photography businesses. Unless you get crazy and you have some specific information you need to keep about your client, then use true CRM. Maybe later on, when you're already doing a lot of engagements, you need to keep track, or maybe you need to automate some things. like a fully fledged CRM system will help you do that, because then you have a client list, and then CRM system can send them like text notifications and email notifications. And does that make your life easier? Of course, but like not at the beginning, not when you have 5 clients, not when you have even like 10 clients, right? So that's that. And then capture key details. So what do we like keep? Just keep it simple. Like you need their name, first name, last name, email, phone number, what type of photography they need, because you're probably if it's an Excel sheet, you may want to use separate tabs for like one tab for weddings, one tab for families, one tab for corporate shoots, one tab for headshots. I don't know, whatever, if you're doing kids photography, there could be another one. So just keep track of your clients, because what happens is we tend to forget, especially the busier we get, we tend to forget, and then things fall kind of through. And then this is when you start kind of neglecting this whole process and your client, and nobody likes to be neglected. So make sure that they have this great experience with you guys, and that you follow those steps with every client. So when you open a sheet, it's like, oh, they are at step number 2. They now need to be at step number 3. So this is exactly what it's for. Like that whole cycle is so that you can go back to the sheet and check, like, okay, next thing, I have to send them an email. Oh, next thing, I have to schedule a meeting with them. Oh, next thing, I have to look into a delivery email or prep them for the meeting. So this is exactly why this system is for. Organize by category, create separate tabs. Already mentioned that, so we don't need to talk about this anymore. And now 24-hour. This is our next thing here. Next step. So they've initiated the contact. Let's say they send me a DM or an email. Then we make sure that it's a quick response. For me, it's 24 hours. Like I really don't see a reason why you would not be able to respond to somebody within 24 hours. Even if you're on vacation, like you either care about your business or you don't. So client is not there for your convenience. It's your client. If you prioritize your business, you should get back to them as soon as possible. That doesn't mean you have to, immediately jump on a call with them, which some businesses do. But I'll tell you guys a story. I actually have a friend that has an employee, and that employee's specific task, their role, their job, is to literally drop everything they're doing and answer the client's email like immediately, as soon as possible. Like literally, she sits home and maybe prepares dinner, and like she has to stop, and she goes and answers the client. That's one way to do it. It's definitely effective. So from seeing the numbers, you obviously don't have to do that. You're not dealing with volumes. It's okay if you get 10 inquiries a month, 5 inquiries a month. Like just take the time and answer them as soon as possible, because it shows your professionalism. It shows that you're reliable. I mean, that's what people are looking for. And it shows them that you have like systems that people like to have systems, like frameworks, and they like to know kind of what to expect. They know that when they send an email, they get a response. If they text you, they get so that's just what it is. And it sets the tone for like this experience ahead of them, because like if you answer within 24 hours, like that shows you that, hey, we can probably rely on this guy when we schedule a meeting or when he shows up at our event. So the even though it's a quick response, like it really starts everybody off on a right foot. The next thing after the quick response is I didn't look at the slide, but you guys get it. 24-hour maximum, your response window for inquiries. And then first impression, I mentioned that. And even a brief acknowledgement shows you're attentive and organized. This first interaction establishes reliability and professionalism. A lot of words, but I pretty much covered it all. So the next step is schedule a discovery call. I think I made this slide too big, to be honest, because here all you're doing is just schedule. Like literally, you're putting them on your calendar. You're figuring out, there was a response. They responded back, and you're now in conversation, then you basically tell them that the next thing is you're not going to be going back and forth on email. You basically are asking for them to commit to a quick call or meeting, and make sure that you say that it's really like there's really no pressure to book anything. I've noticed over time, over the years, that it's like the less pressure you introduce, the better the interaction, right? Nobody likes to be pushed to like buy something. So yes, we are pretty what do I want to say? Pretty like confident in when I talk to a client, I am pretty confident. I'm pretty firm. I'm not pressing anybody to buy. They have other options, but I wanted to. But you kind of want to be in charge of the conversation, right? That's probably the best way I can describe it. And you're basically just saying no pressure call. You're explaining the process where you walk them through what they can expect, time, deliverables, and experience. So that's really on the call. Build client confidence. We can talk about it in a little bit. And here you're just figuring out when is a good time to get together, and you can tell them that you will be explaining the process, the expectations, the deliverables, the experience. This way they know, like, why are we meeting? Are you gonna like have us, sign a contract? Like, no, we're just there to kind of walk through it, so you guys understand the package, you understand what you're getting. You can ask questions. It's more of a like, let's get together and see if we're a good fit for each other. And that may sound like, well, every client is a good fit. Not always. Like, sometimes you'll be amazed. Somebody may show up. I've had this happen to me where somebody would show up and say ask for at one time there was this not genre, but there was this type of editing where the pictures would be black and white with like selective color. You guys know what I'm talking about. The whole picture is black and white, but like a rose is red, right? I personally, that's just my personal opinion, so don't get offended, I hated it. And I never did it. And when client would come in with those expectations, I would say, we're not a good fit. I can probably recommend somebody that's a better fit. At which point they kind of respect you. It's like, oh, wow, like this guy said. And a lot of times clients are like, no, this was just an idea, but like, I sure appreciate you being honest with us and upfront and super transparent, because we love somebody that like can set those expectations. So it's not like you're catering to whatever ideas they come in with. You just say, hey, here's my style. You show them what you show them, and then they can make a decision. You don't have to cater to everybody. And on the same token, not every client has to work with every photographer. I had clients coming into me saying different things about other photographers, whether it was their attitude, style, the way they dress, or whatever. It's this identity connection where clients come in and they feel comfortable with you. That's why we never have to worry about competition as much, because nobody is the same person as you. That's a great news. And then you just basically tell them like, hey, listen, this meeting is not really about selling to you guys. Don't worry about it. It's more to like give you clarity and just kind of confidence, so you can see who I am, how I talk, how I interact with you guys. Maybe you're going to feel super uncomfortable with me. Like, that's probably a good, idea for you to get together so that you can see me in person, because you're going to have to deal with me, right, for a very long time on the shoot day. So that's just that step. Then we have pre-meeting value. This one, guys, is gold. Why? Because you're basically pre-meeting value, building trust before the call. So send helpful content 1-2 days before your scheduled call to establish value and credibility. It could be a testimonial video from another client. It could be a combination of things. Could be testimonial video in combination with your work, maybe a slideshow. Maybe you're just doing like a quick intro. Literally, it doesn't have to be long. It could be like 3 minutes. Think of it like it's as long as a slideshow. So you can literally just show up on a camera like, hey guys, here's Marcin, like, looking forward to your meeting. Thank you so much for like reaching out. Before you guys come, like, I just want to like show you some of our work. Then you can run the slideshow. If there's anything else you want to cover, if there's anything like you want to cover in terms of your style or whatever, you can do that. And the client gets this video right before going in. And this does a lot of things, but it's like it calms them down, right? Because people don't do it like you do it all the time, because let's say you go to, through 30, 40, 50, 60 engagements in a year. But for your client, it could be the first time they're dealing with professional photographers. So it kind of brings their guard down. They're less nervous. Like they just saw your face and now they're showing up at the meeting. So anything you can provide to them, and I'll give you different examples depending on kind of on what it is. If it's a like family shoot, for example, you can give them like a recommendation. You can send them a PDF. It doesn't have to be video. You can send them a PDF on like, hey, here are just some tips on like what to wear on your day, and you can just say, hey, I'm really excited to look forward to like. They actually get this premium experience because like, oh my god, my photographer actually thinks about our our shoot that's coming up. So that's another thing. So when you do it with headshots, when you do it with family shoots, you can give them some direction, some fun facts, some valuable information. If you're dealing with a wedding client, you can take them through like a timeline, which is I often do that. I basically send a timeline, and they're like, "Oh, okay," because everybody's like, "Oh my god, what's going to happen? Like, is he going to be there?" And when I send the timeline, I say, "Hey guys, here's the timeline. Here's things change during the day. Like, don't stress about it. But here's how I see it. Here's where I think we will be at different times during the day." And I give them an option to like for a quick call. They usually connect with me for 5-10 minutes, and it's literally like we don't really talk about a lot of stuff. I think it's more of this comfort of like just kind of hearing your voice, all right? That because brides, remember, they book and grooms, they book a year ahead of a time, and then you guys don't really interact unless it's like an email or text message or something. But then when they get the timeline and it's like super close, they usually stress before the wedding, or like corporate clients, they really like don't, they kind of put it on the shelf, they forget about it, and then they have to deal with it. And when you are sending the instructions like, hey, let's connect on the phone for 10 minutes, it just calms everybody down. Like I've noticed since we started implementing this, when you show up, it's like you just had a conversation with them. So it's totally different than not talking for 6 months or 12 months, and then suddenly, and in some cases I've had clients booking weddings 2 years before their wedding, right? So it's like a lot of things change, right? And if you just have a conversation with them, you get the point. So you can do the testimonials, you can do like an intro video, you can do some photos, you can do helpful PDFs, and by doing that, you're kind of building that trust, and you position yourself as like a true professional, because who does that? Like very few people, right? So that is it. Let me just make sure I covered everything on your slide. Short video, previous clients sharing their positive experiences. Yes. Personalized introduction with simple photos relevant to specific needs. I've covered that. And then helpful guide. I already mentioned that. So next one here is the discovery call. And if you guys, this is a good point to kind of bring it up. Those meetings I don't cover. Like I will not go and tell you about how we run discover call, like our client meeting. But guess what? If you want to know about discover call, if you want to know about how we price our services, like my whole approach, I also had separate videos to talk about those two things. So if you're interested, again, this is the come on, keyboard work. This is the link, easyproimage.com/group. Jump in the group. You have there's a tab guides, and under guides, you'll find the video about how we run client meetings, how we're pricing services. I take you guys through the whole A to Z, through the whole process. If you're watching on YouTube and you don't feel like typing, you can scan the QR code. It's the same thing. A lot of times I work inside this group with individuals. It's not a secret. People are reaching out. They're trying to establish their businesses, and sometimes we consult with them. If that's something you're interested in, like if you wanted for me to like do an audit of kind of where you guys are, what you're doing, how the process works, it's a free option. And to take advantage of that, you would have to go to easyproimage.com, start what that does is it actually takes you to a survey. There's probably like a good number of questions, maybe 25, maybe 30, but it helps me understand where you guys are and what the weak points are. And at that point, when I get your form, I can actually look at it, and then when we connect, we can just hammer in on the things that you're deficient on, like where we can kind of improve the business. So it's a great way if you're kind of like trying to figure out like, okay, I understand part of my business, but I'm missing some of the business components, maybe legal stuff, maybe accounting, maybe contracts or whatever. We can do that. But now back to enough of the sales pitch here. Let's go back to your slide. This one, the discover call, walking the client journey. So I already said it. It's a no pressure to commit on the call sort of approach. They either show up. Things have changed over time. Now it's the Zoom calls. It's a mix. Some clients like to do it in person. Some person like to do it virtually. But you basically walk them through your package and your process. So that's at least true for me. Over time, I've noticed that clients, after doing, let's say, 50 or 100 of those meetings, I've noticed that clients are asking for pretty much the same stuff, right? So there's really like no surprises at this point. And when I like work with somebody, I share the script and like, here's what we do, because it kind of leads them from the pain points to like the correct solution. And then we talk about sales and prices and all that good stuff. But I basically, high level, I talk to my clients about the package. I explain every single thing that they get. And then I take them to stage 2, which is basically the process. And I walk through the day. And this way, then I understand what they're getting and how this works. And in the end, I have some random stuff like contract information and when to sign and what are the options, how long are they going to wait. Like there's just a combination of like random questions that I address with them. And then if they have questions, I address questions. By the time I'm done with the meeting, like I've pretty much addressed all the common objections before the client even has objections. Like a lot of times, they especially brides, sometimes corporate clients, they commit with like binders or like lists, and and they always like, oh, it's like, what do they look at the list, they look at me, look at the list, look at me, but then they kind of tune in, just listen to me, and by the time I'm done, because it's like I've done it so many times, they, when I ask like for questions, like, no, like you pretty much answer it all. So that's good. And then like I said, they still can ask questions. Sometimes we are dealing with some like special instructions, could be family related, could be portrait related, just things we need to know about if client has something special going on. That's when we talk about it. The slide, keep it pressure free, present your process, address common concerns, open Q&A. Pretty simple. The next one, follow up. Oh, guys, this is when the magic happens. So follow up is really where we sell. Never sell on a spot. Never. I don't think there's a need to sell on a spot. By the way, before I talk about follow up, this is super, super important. Again, if you have any comments about the stuff that I'm talking about in the Facebook group, you can leave those comments. I have the screen here, and hopefully I see them live. And I can pop them here and answer them as I'm talking. But back to the follow-up. This is when the sales are occurring. Most sales close in the follow-up and not on the call. And for us, I got to tell you, 80% of the sales. Sometimes clients come in and they're convinced, they know like it's just a formality to meet with you. But for 80% of the clients, I want to say, sales happened like in a follow-up, and we basically, clients ask like, okay, so now I have the info, maybe they have to consult with somebody, maybe it's like they're not really sure, they just need, it's not the time that makes you make the decision, it's the information, right? So they're delaying, and it's like you want to kind of make sure in the meeting that you understand why they're delaying. You can actually ask this question. But sometimes it's like, a lot of times, like with weddings, for example, bride and groom simply just want to like check, like, is he legit? Is he good? Or like, they don't want to do it in front of you. So I totally get it. And then I basically, like, when you're busy, you can basically tell them, like, I always set some sort of an expectation, because I know I will be following up in like about 10 to 14 days, and I want to have the date open. I don't want to sit there and, like, wait for somebody to make their decision for the next 3 months, because I need to have the date open for other clients to be able to leverage it, right? So, and I stick to it. So I literally give them 10 to 14 days, and then I say, hey guys, it's a yes or no. Because I already have another client, or maybe it's a busy season, like for wedding, summer, and I say, okay, it's a yes or no. And at which point, like I said, we close pretty much 95% of people that are talking to us, which is great. This could be an indication our prices are too low, but that's what happens. And I basically nudge that decision, and then they commit. And the next step after they commit is, this is just a timeline on the slide. Do we need to cover anything here? So day one, send thank you email summarizing key points. Share a piece of value, perhaps blog post. We don't need to cover that. We don't need to go this deep. I'm looking at time. I want to save a little bit of time for you guys. When they say yes, securing the booking, it's the gratitude step and the official step. So the gratitude step is basically saying thank you, and the legal step is for them to sign the contract and give you money. So what I do is, when the client responds back, I send them the follow-up. They respond back and say yes. I'm like, awesome. If it's a wedding, I may actually sit down and write physical card. Yes, pain in the ass. Like, who writes cards these days? People that make money. So I, with wedding client, because it's a big financial commitment, right? If it's $5,000, $6,000, I'm gonna sit down and write a card. So I write a card, and a lot of times, I gotta tell you, I get feedback from the brides like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, I knew that you're the right person because you're writing this, because I'm taking the time. I'm taking care of you, basically. Like, be a human, and it will be appreciated. So with weddings, I do that. If it's a corporate client, I send them an email. If it's family, headshot, I write an email, something to say, guys, like, I really appreciate it. Like, I truly appreciate it. It means a lot to me, my family, like, thank you. And then I send them the contract. It's usually an attachment or a link to, like, if you have a system to handle your contracts, you can do that. And then you're asking for money. Wow, like, crazy, right? That you have to ask somebody for money, but, like, it's usually part of the contract. But I say it in my email. When you say it 20 times, 30 times, it becomes normal. But, like, here is the thank you. Here's a contract. Your first installment, or whatever total, is due on this day, and it's this much, and then it's official. So this is everything is covered here. Official step. Always begin with genuine appreciation for their business, and I mean it. And then send a warm thank you email expressing your excitement. Weddings consider a note. Small gesture sets a positive tone for the entire relationship. Official step, send them the agreement with terms and addresses and whatever you guys include. Include retainer payment instructions and confirm important dates and next steps. You can also mention that. So now they said yes. Pre-shoot information. This is kind of like getting ready for the meeting, that I like send them some valuable stuff before the shoot. For weddings, again, it's timelines, maybe logistics. It usually happens 2 weeks before. I jump on a quick call, we confirm, we're good. The corporate, when like corporate clients usually care, like, what is it going to look like? Do we need a big room? Do I need to have everybody there? Like, so you can just kind of spell it out. Like, I just recently did pictures of a sales team for Holiday Inn. And what the process was is, like, it was a pretty relatively, like, a good sized team. So I don't need 16 people just kind of standing there while I'm taking care of, like, one person. But I think we did groups, and we did groups of, like, 4. So 4 people would hop in. We would shoot for about half an hour, whatever, and then next 4. In the end, like, we would call them in and just do, like, a one group. Which was quick. A lot of times we take individual photos and then we kind of stitch it up in Photoshop to, like, have the team, the group, unless you really need the group photo. So that's what I do for corporate clients, headshots, family stuff. It's just like how to prep and wardrobe guidance. And I like video because it's very personal and very like it's warmer. And sometimes for family, like I would even send a quick video like, hey guys, looking forward to like meeting with you, and I could do it on my phone, right? Like it doesn't have to be formal. Nothing. Don't overthink it. I would send it on my phone, or I would record voice message sometimes if you don't want to do video. And I would say, guys, it's too much to like text, but like looking forward to it. If you're worrying like about your wardrobe, maybe you have a question, just text me. Like let me know. And you would not believe like the response that you get back, because people really appreciate you helping them and guiding them through the process. So this is with the pre-shoot information, and then we go into a shoot day very quickly, guys. So a lot of us want to see a sneak peek, right? We always laugh at the girls like, show me my picture. But it's true for all of us. We just want to get a reward. We want to have that satisfaction of like, it's like a sneak peek, right? So I try to do like give this visual reward on a shoot day. For weddings, I do like a mini slideshow. For corporate clients, it's easier because or headshots, because they preview photos on a monitor. Like super easy, because I don't leave until they see the photo and like, yes, that is okay. So that's super convenient and nice. For like fashion, it's the same thing, because it's the client, whoever the designer is, they can also preview it and they can tell you whether they're happy. So it's impossible for them not to be happy after the fact. And then families and headshots. Sometimes I just turn my camera around and say, "Hey guys, like here's what it is," and everybody's happy because they want to know that their effort that went into this preparation. Mom's making sure everybody's dressed, for the occasion. They just want to see like, yeah, it's something worked. So you don't have to show them every photo, but like sometimes you can just turn your camera around. It's literally one or two photos, and let me tell you, they'll be super thrilled and appreciative. So this is what happens on a day, and then next thing is the professional delivery, and the delivery is really kind of like you have to. It's usually in the contract most of the time. Like you set those expectations before, so that like the timelines are in the agreement, so you just basically stick to them. And then as they get photo, most people just get the gallery delivered. They get an email with the link, usually the password, and maybe some instructions in terms of like how to download photos and how to buy photos. If it's physical delivery, like an album, just make sure that it's packaged nicely. Most album companies give you that option, so just make sure it's nice. If you include like a physical note, that's even better. You don't have to, but it works. And then just you gotta make it kind of polished and professional. Make sure it looks good. So that's the very next step. And at that point, like you would think, I would usually stop at this point. Like, okay, so I'm done. I got paid. I delivered my stuff. Good. On to the next client. Like, wrong. What you want to do is you need to the time of delivery is the best time to ask clients for testimonials. The excitement, the emotional load is at its peak, and you guys want to capitalize on that option. So as I said on the slide, strike while the iron is hot. And I'm talking about it, but I'm not showing you the slide. So this is a slide. Timing is everything here. Ask for testimonials when client excitement is at its peak. Typically right after they've received their images. Everybody's raving, everybody's happy, everybody wants to go and like check out their stuff and share on social media. This is when you deliver and when you ask. They're happy, and at that moment you say, guys, by the way, would you mind doing a Google review? Do you mind maybe giving a like or sharing on your social media? Maybe doing a post or sharing the post that you created. And people, this is the moment to ask, because the longer you wait, it kind of fizzles out. People kind of, okay. Then you ask, they'll do it, but the momentum is gone, right? Like they're back in their life now, and this becomes second priority. So then you feel like extracting that information. So this kind of builds the reputation with like minimal effort from your end. Multiple formats, like I said, offer options. They can do a video testimonial, they can do a Google review, they can social media post, they can share it on their profile. Or they can write you a text message or like a email or something. You can take screenshots of it because it's super important for other clients to see that people buy what other people buy. That's just the magic. And you have to make it easy for them, provide specific questions or prompts to guide their feedback. So don't just kind of leave it open kind of wide open, because people don't know what to do with that information. Like, nobody does testimonials. So if you have a list of like, hey, can you just answer like 4 questions, like, hey, what were you thinking before you booked with us? Like, were you nervous? Were you kind of iffy? Whatever. And like, how was the experience? Now they're happy, right? So it's like, oh, well, how is it now? And they're like, oh my God, well, this was so easy, and you made us feel so comfortable. And so like guide them with questions. And in the end, like, would you recommend? Oh, definitely, we would recommend you, right? So if it's a video, you can do it this way. The easier you make it, the more likely they will follow up through. If you make it too complicated, nobody's gonna touch it, or they'll delay it until they give up eventually. And these authentic testimonials become powerful marketing tools. There's nothing better, guys. No ad can beat somebody saying that you did an awesome job. So that's just something to take away. And then last one is very super important step: nurturing long-term relationship. Don't get rid of your clients. Like, a lot of times, I can give you a quick story. So like, when sometimes I sit here at home, somebody knocks on the door, and it's usually the solar guys, the solar panel guys. And I'm just blown away every single time they come, because they ask me, or they imply, or whatever, their spiel. And then if I say no, they just walk away. And I'm like, dude, it's the worst mistake that you can do. Why? Because just because I'm not buying today, that doesn't mean I'm not going to buy from you tomorrow or next month or next year. If you're doing a corporate shoot, who knows? They may book a family shoot. They may book a wedding. Like, people don't come across professional photographers all the time. So it's like, when they have an opportunity and experience was nice, make sure you stay in front of them. Whether it's, them following you on social media, right? Whether you're sharing your Instagram account, whether you're adding them, I add them to the email list, and the email list then helps us kind of cater to them, right? So you're essentially it's not like you're catering to them specifically. It's more of like a reminder that you exist, because people tend to forget stuff. And a year from now, if somebody brings up an idea of like a wedding or family shoot, like, oh, who are we going to hire? If they get the email, they will know you're on top. There's a very, oh my God, what's his name? Professor Dunbar. He always talks about staying within the circles, and basically, we are very tribal, just revolutionary biology. And what happens is, people have their circles of like trusted friends, which is usually 5, and then like good friends is like a circle of 15, and then 45, which is like your family, your friends, your whatever. So it's like a tight circle. And then that grows for 45 to 150, which is usually people you invite to like your weddings or like big gatherings, right? So it's all science. It's not like it's random. And then after 150, it goes to 450. This is the people like at work and people that you see on the street all the time and whatever. And then it goes into this huge circle of 1500, where people like Albert Einstein, George W. Bush, or whoever it is. You guys know, Martha Stewart. It's like, you don't know them, but you kind of know them, like, they exist. And your task is to make sure that you stay within that circle, between the 450 and the 1500, or you're part of the 1500, because that's how people, whenever they get prompted for like, hey, we got to take photos, like, yep, I know somebody that does photos, right? So that email is just that reminder. So you're constantly keeping that door open for like, hey, come in, we'll do this, or we'll do, even if it's a family shoot, like you do it one year, like, hey, you guys want to do it next year? Coming in. So this is the final step. You got to make sure they're added to the list. The list should be automated. I will do a separate episode on email list, because automation is a big deal and it's a very important thing and it's technical, so that's why it requires a separate episode. And you're staying on top of mind with your, let's say, monthly emails or bi-monthly emails. And like I said, you're introducing people to other genres of photography, and you give them more opportunities to buy from you. So that is really it. This guys. This is the cycle. Now you know the magic. Did I share the last slide with you? If I didn't, I just want to flash it one more time. And so this is it. If you want to take a screenshot or something, but other than that, again, if you don't know where to find me, you can hop into a Facebook group by either scanning the QR code, or you can just go here, easyproimage.com/group, and you'll find me there. Facebook group with all those videos. And this was pretty much it for today. If you want to chat with me, you can reach out. You have a couple links here. So one is to my personal profile on Facebook. Join me, follow, become a friend. Shoot me a question if you have one. There's also a link to Facebook group, again, Instagram and X. We're just launching X, so we'll see how that goes. But this is where you can find me. I really appreciate your time. If you have been watching this whole thing, I'm super thankful for your time, because eventually this is how you guys pay me, with your time. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, give us a like or consider subscribing. That would be awesome. For today, this is it. I don't have a topic that I can share with you for next week, but next week we're getting together Thursday, 12 o'clock, and we're talking about the next element, next component in the puzzle. I hope you make a lot of money with photography. That's my goal. That's it for today. I'll see you guys next week. Yeah.